Hi guys, Liam here from Back to the Console, and I've got the story of the Nintendo PlayStation. Imagine if this console came about. The Nintendo PlayStation. Watch the video. Imagine waking up one morning and discovering that your biggest rival only exists because you upset them. That's basically what happened to Nintendo. Back in the late 1980s, Nintendo was sitting comfortably on top of the gaming world. The NES was everywhere, the Super Nintendo was on the horizon, and Mario was more famous than half the people on television. Life was good. Then CDs came along.
Give it to me! Give it to me! Give it to me!
Suddenly, everyone was talking about how these little shiny discs could hold hundreds of times more data than cartridges. Nintendo looked at this technology and thought, well, we probably need one of those. So they teamed up with a company called Sony. That's right, Sony. At the time, Sony wasn't a gaming giant. They made televisions, stereos, Walkmans, basically the sort of electronics your dad insisted that were better because they had the word Sony written on them.
With the new digital Mavica from Sony,
two companies began working on a Super Nintendo CD-ROM add-on. It even had the name Nintendo PlayStation. Yep, that's correct. I said it. The Nintendo PlayStation. Those two words living happily together. It sounds about as believable as Sega Switch or Microsoft Game Boy.
I'd buy that for $1.
Engineers actually built working prototypes that weren't just sketches or rumours. They were real. They were functioning consoles. Imagine owning one today. You wouldn't need a retirement plan. You just need really good home insurance. Everything seemed to be going well until the lawyers got involved. The dreaded lawyers. Because if there's one thing powerful companies love, is arguing over who owns the one thing that doesn't exist yet. The disagreement centered around licensing and who would control games released on CD. Nintendo looked at the contract, read the small print, probably squinted a tiny bit and thought, yeah, we're not sure about this anymore. Then came one of the biggest plot twists in gaming history. Without warning, Nintendo announced they were partnering with another company instead.
What the fuck?
Sony found out along with everybody else. Imagine getting dumped during a live press conference. It's not just awkward, that's Olympic level awkward. Somewhere there was probably a Sony executive quietly wondering, so does this mean lunch is cancelled? Now here's the funny part. Most companies would have packed everything away, moved on. Sony did the exact opposite. They basically said, well fine, we'll make our own console. Sometimes pure determination is powered entirely by spite.
I am the one, the way your son.
Years later, the PlayStation launched. Then came the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, 4, and 5. Before long, Nintendo had accidentally helped create its biggest competitor. That's like teaching your neighbour how to bake only for them to open a bakery across the street and win every award for the next 20 years. The original Nintendo PlayStation prototypes nearly disappeared forever. Only a handful are known to have survived, and for many years weren't even sure one still existed. But then, out of the blue, one turned up in the possession of a former executive's family.
I found the treasure!
Imagine clearing out your attic, Christmas decorations, old TVs, an old vacuum cleaner, 3 mysterious cables that literally don't fit anything, and then one of the rarest video game consoles ever made. Today, it's one of the most famous gaming prototypes in history, not because millions were sold, but because almost none were. It's the snapshot of the exact moment gaming history took a completely different path. Think about it. If Nintendo and Sony had stayed together, would there have been a PlayStation? Would Final Fantasy have left Nintendo? Would Crash Bandicoot have become PlayStation's mascot? Would the console wars have looked completely different? We'll never ever know. One disagreement, one contract, one awkward press conference, and the gaming industry changed forever. It's amazing to think that one of Nintendo's biggest business mistakes ended up creating one of the most successful gaming brands of all time. Sometimes history isn't made by winning, sometimes it's made by one very uncomfortable business meeting. The story of the Nintendo PlayStation, a console which could have changed everything. What are your thoughts on this? Comment below, and if you really enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you all in the next video. The Nintendo PlayStation